All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Market Trading. I'm your host, Tone Vays. How are we doing on audio today? I am back on the roads, though I didn't fix the issue. It's just that I travel with two sets of $300 wireless roads as a backup. I dug through my bag and I found the second set. So I don't know what was happening to the first set, but this one hopefully is working. Let me know. All right, we're gonna go straight to the charts. Crypto comments. Hey, brother, can you just give us a summary on what's going on in the Argentinian election? Are you guys paying attention? I know you're like a Russian-speaking trading channel, but what's going on in the Argentinian election? Give us an overview. Audio is good. Cool. All right, I'm gonna do the charts, and then I'm actually gonna take a look at. I think the Argentinian elections took place today, and we'll take a look and see what's going on. It's actually kind of important. Yeah, I didn't think you would have any idea, though. He is in Argentina, which is why I asked. So it wasn't totally random. The peso is dumping. How can it dump? It's already at nothing. New Zealand in the house. Cool. So is Toledo. All right, let us look at the weekly chart. Yeah, Satoshi Corner, we're going to talk about this a little bit later. This is the weekly chart. The weekly chart just started a brand new candle. We are 2 weeks away from a weekly MRI top, and it's going to be interesting because while we could get a weekly MRI top in consolidation, that's not the ideal MRI top I would want to see. I like seeing MRI tops as blow-off tops, in which case we would be way above the channel, breaking out of the channel. Now, there's so much to teach about channels. First off, it is, and you see this arrow right here, and the arrow stops at the top of the channel. There is a reason for that. Markets rarely break channels from bottoms of channels. It's a little hard to explain. I had a graphic, but it is very, very rare that, well, we reversed on an MRI buy, which is awesome. And thank you for buying the MRI, by the way. We had a nice spike in MRI sales over the last few weeks since I lowered the price to 300. So I appreciate everyone that's bought the MRI this month. Thank you for that. It's very rare that you break the top of a channel from the bottom of the channel. That doesn't normally happen. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying that's not normal. Okay. Usually you break the channel from having support in the middle of the channel. Okay. Just keep that in mind. I still believe we are going to pull back. And there is no better reason to pull back than today. Today is an MRI top. The last time we had an MRI top, the market pulled back 3% for 1,000 points. Now, this time we have a much higher rise. We rose a little higher than I anticipated, but this is the MRI. This is where market tops. Now, Monday, the stock market's going to open. So a lot of things can change in the next 6 hours. I wasn't even going to stream today. I was going to wait till later tonight to stream. Well, tonight, Dubai time. But I saw the price pumping, so I wanted to do a stream basically, even at this hour. So it's possible that the market has topped. It's hard to say, but between right now and the next 24 hours, well, the next 36 hours, I think there will be a top in the market. and a pullback. Now, the higher we go in the next 36 hours, the deeper the pullback is going to be. But here's the best news. Here's what makes me super bullish. We have gone sufficiently high enough above the moving averages, and we have started to split the moving averages. And we are now going to start, raising the 50-period moving average really quickly. I'm actually curious how many candles this is. Let's go back 50 bars and see where we end up. Oh, this is great. So if we go back 50 bars, for every bar that we add on a daily scale, we are replacing one of these bars at the low. And you can see that the lowest price Bitcoin had was right here. So in about, this was, again, I know there are visually impaired people that watch this channel, so I need to be more descriptive. The lowest bar, the lowest daily close we had was, shout out to Ray, by the way, I know you're watching. The lowest price we had was September 11, 2023. And that is about maybe 8 bars away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in about 8 days, we are going to replace the lowest priced candle in this 50-period moving average with the highest priced candle in this 50-period moving average. That means that the velocity of the 50-period moving average is going to be its steepest in 50 days. This is that second derivative that we're talking about. When we replace the lowest priced candle with the highest priced candle, that significantly steepens the 50-period moving average. And once 8 more days from now, this thing is going to start going up like a bandit. Okay, it's going to go up like that. So really looking forward to that. And that means that we're going to have some very important crossovers coming. Now, that doesn't mean that the market can't pull back, but the best news I can give you guys is that we have gone so much above the areas of resistance that we now have very critical support in the $28,000 range. And the chances that Bitcoin will go below 28,000 at this point is actually pretty low. I am now confident that this box will not happen, probably ever. So we are deleting the $23,000 box. We are taking the $23,000 target off the table. I don't care how many bears there are around. I am looking at the chart. I see a short-term pullback, but the weekly scale still has more upside. Now, the real question is, what do we do with the position? As you can see, the short-term moving average is rising, but we have been in our bullish position. And the intermediate-term moving average is yet to cross over the long-term, and the long-term is still very, very flat. Now, I don't like to chase. I don't like to chase anything, pretty much. So I am going to wait a little bit more for a pullback, okay? I'm going to wait a little bit more for a pullback. I don't like the daily MRI. We still haven't gotten our crossovers. If I have to go 100% long at this point, that's fine. I will do that at the breakout. I don't mind. And I just didn't like to chase this environment. Also because of this pullback that took place on fake news. Lots of issues here, even though I've been bullish all throughout. However, I do want to wait for a pullback. I'm happy to buy back into Bitcoin into a 50 to a 75% position, maybe even 100% position on a pullback to say 29,000, and I would be happy with that. Okay. The financial summit, exactly 2 weeks away. 2 weeks from today, we will be gathering in the gorgeous Ritz-Carlton of Ras Al Khaimah. Please join us if you are still thinking about it. We have about 8 to 9 villas left available. This is what your villa will look like. That's the bedroom. That's your own private pool. That's the steakhouse. Very nice steakhouse. And if you're still considering it, come and join us. And Unconfiscatable is coming back to Las Vegas in about 6 weeks. We're 6 weeks away. The event is December 7 and 8 at the D Hotel. Perhaps next year we will move to a bigger and greater venue. Though we will maintain the small nature of the event at 500 people or less. We are expecting 400 for a sellout, and the carnivory dinner will only have about 75 tickets up for sale. We have about 25 to 30 speakers that need to attend the dinner. We have our staff, myself, other organizers, and sponsors at the dinner. So there's only 75 people that can join the dinner. The price of the dinner will go up for about 12 tickets to go, maybe less. We just sold another one yesterday. The next tier is going to be 400, and the tier after that is going to be 500. It is very likely that the dinner will cost more than the conference itself. Keep that in mind. If you want to join the speaker's dinner, it is very limited. Oh, a VIP ticket gets you into the dinner. Think about it. And don't forget our poker tournament. Poker tournament is going to be awesome. And the Scammy Awards. Oh, this year the Scammy Awards will be hosted by Giacomo Zucco and his lovely wife, Mir. It's going to be absolutely great. The crypto couple, unfortunately, will not be able to make it this year. So we have new and exciting hosts for you guys this year. I will be on the troll table. Nate, thank you so much for your kind words on Unconfiscatable. I remember you at the last event. Do I keep in touch with Socrates? Yes, I am. I do keep in touch with Socrates. I'm going to reach out to him again. Should I say it? He'll probably be there. I don't know, but he really wants to be left alone. But he will likely come to the event. When I say I keep in touch with Socrates, I am terrible at keeping in touch with people. It literally means I'm on very good, friendly terms with Socrates, though I should make a bigger effort in consistently, DMing with him. Okay, my travel schedule. Well, I'm in Dubai. I'm speaking at Blockchain Live tomorrow. Tomorrow, late afternoon, I will be a speaker at Blockchain Live. Come and catch me there. Come say hi. And then AIM Summit and World Blockchain Summit. You can go to Tone Vays calendar. And next month, in November, we have the Financial Summit. Oh, and then there's a couple of other events, including Unconfiscatable. Do I have Unconfiscatable here? I do. There it is. And that's it. And then I'm going to be on a multi-month break. I'm going to speak at very few conferences next year. Whatever happened to Leah Wald? Leah Wald is the CEO of Valkyrie, who are trying to get a Bitcoin ETF. Okay, we covered the daily chart. Let's talk about short term. The 4-hour chart is actually very, very bullish into the rest of the day, basically. And the 4-hour chart will likely top tomorrow. Well, we'll see if it gets there. But the hourly chart, however, keep in mind, the hourly chart is also very useful. And I believe it's coming up on an MRI top. Right, the hourly chart will give us an MRI top in 2 hours from now. Well, 2.5 hours from now. So it's very likely we top early in the morning. Though, again, Mondays are, you can't predict Mondays because we'll see what the stock market does. I still believe Bitcoin will top in the next 36 hours. It might have already topped, but somewhere between an hour ago and 36 hours from now, I am expecting a Bitcoin top and a pullback. Adjust your short-term leverage positions accordingly. When the market opens in the AM, I am 99.9% certain we will break the 10% barrier of GBTC. People are probably piling into the GBTC trade overnight, as I've been telling you guys all year long, not to give up on GBTC, not to panic. It will, erase all of this discount and go back to par. Yes, it would be 3 years before it does that. Yes, you will lose an additional 6% of your money due to Barry Silber's unreasonable management fee. But I also believe it's possible that we go 6% above the zero bound on the discount to make up for the 6% loss, especially if the Bitcoin ETF is not awarded by the SEC, which I don't believe that it will be. Right. So the way I try to have an analogy on this, if you've ever watched the show Chernobyl, and if you haven't, you really, really should. At the very end, in the last episode, in the court, when the guy is trying to explain to the judges what happened in the reactor and why and how it blew up, it was a really great explanation. And he talked about there's this gas buildup in the reactor. And the gas buildup is creating the illusion that the reactor is not getting hot, basically. Like this buildup of gas is giving the impression that the reactor is cool. And then when the reactor gets to a critical heat, it immediately burns away all that gas that was keeping it cool. And in an instant, people realize, holy shit, gas was keeping it cool, and the gas was burned off in the blink of an eye at a certain temperature. And suddenly everyone realizes, holy shit, this thing just evaporated. This is exactly what is happening to the GBTC discount. I anticipated this. I've talked about this, that the moment there is a bull market in Bitcoin, there is not going to be enough GBTC to go around. And just like in that explanation of the gas being vaporized by the heat, GBTC discount would be vaporized by people's desire to own Bitcoin profits in a tax-deferred account or in a traditional trading account, okay? And that's what's going to make this discount evaporate. And then it will trade at par for a while, because once it breaks par, there's going to be enough people that have been waiting to get out of their GBTC position. And they're going to put selling pressure on GBTC, but only after it breaks the zero bound. All right, let's move on. Speaking of gas, natural gas. Natural gas is about to hit a very critical MRI buy on a daily scale. I wasn't surprised that natural gas was going to pull back off the MRI sell. I'm a little surprised as to how much it pulled back. This was a very weird gap. I don't believe this gap is going to close. It was a gap on a contract flip, but even on a contract flip, these gaps are never this wide. It's very strange. But I do believe that the drop in natural gas is very limited. You have a triple monster of support between a moving average, an upward sloping trend line, and the prior horizontal channel line, which in hindsight, I really should adjust higher. And perhaps even like that. So there's a monster triple quadruple support. Moving average, trend line, horizontal pullback, and the MRI buy. This is, and if it falls, 2 more days, the RSI will probably be at the lows. Lots of things are here for a beautiful buy the dip natural gas trade. What do you think of Bitcoin exposure via MSTR versus GBTC? I prefer GBTC to MSTR as a Bitcoin proxy. Now, that doesn't mean that MSTR is a bad Bitcoin proxy. I just think that GBTC is a cleaner Bitcoin proxy. It's cleaner because it doesn't have additional, headwinds. They're not, MicroStrategies is also a company. Michael Saylor is the CEO of that company. Michael Saylor can get hit by a bus. Like anything can happen. Things happen to companies. It's additional risk that GBTC does. That GBTC has its own risk, but their SEC thing, they're actually winning on the SEC thing. So the SEC debacle with GBTC has actually been a positive for GBTC, not a negative in the last 3 months. Peter L, you just purchased the MRI. Thank you so much. If you literally just purchased it while the stream was happening, then you won't have access to it until for a couple of hours. It's still a manual process, but you should get the confirmation email. Still have to manually give you access to it. We will talk about no reason to talk about oil today. Gold, I expected gold to pull back a little bit. Gold is in a similar position to Bitcoin, where it hit a daily MRI top a few days ago. And let's see how gold opens. I think gold will pull back into area of support. That's a good thing. And then the moment gold breaks 2,000 next time, I don't think it's ever going to come back to these lows. I think this $1,800 low is likely here to stay. I don't like the fact that it's a double bottom low. I was very surprised we fell below 1900. I really thought 1900 would reverse the price of gold. Very, very surprised. It didn't last that long. It reversed on an MRI buy with extension C, and now we're just pulling back. So this is a 1 to 4 candle correction type of top. At least it feels like it. And this was more of a full-blown reversal type of bottom. And I do explain these things in the video playlist that you get. People have been asking me about the 1 to 4 candle correction. I do try to explain it. I'll probably do more educational videos next year. It'll be on the Financial Summit YouTube channel, where I will be transitioning my financial knowledge to the Financial Summit brand. And the Tone Vays brand will likely talk about elections, with a big one coming up next year. 60K next year is very possible. Mark B, thank you for your super chat. Thanks, Tom, for all you do. Bitcoin motorist banned me. I'm not sure. Sometimes my moderators can be a little trigger happy. Don't take it personally. Tone, any chance you would discount the Dubai last tickets? DM me, Mark. DM me. Motorist, Mark's been around here for a while. Let's not ban him. I know he was critical of Socrates on a statement. Can I put you out of timeout? No, it's okay. You'll be okay. You're not permanently banned. You're they just hid your messages. Yeah, Mark B, DM me. I'm sure you're resourceful enough to figure out how to DM me, and we'll chat. I don't like to say it publicly, but here's how it works. Can people get a discount at a financial summit? The short answer is yes. Who gets a discount at a financial summit? The people that contribute more. What's the proper way to phrase this here? People that bring more value to the financial summit than they take away from the summit get discounts. So if you have, something really good to present, that, well, I have to believe that it's something good to present, not you have to believe that it's something good to present. Like, if you can bring more value to the event than you take from the event, there is a higher probability of a discount. So people that are able to present really cool strategies that impress me, and other people that are going can get a discount to the sun. So DM me and we chat. Okay, we're already pulling back. Not surprising. This 1 hour was getting a little heavy. Would have liked to see it go up a little slower the last couple of hours and perfectly reverse from an MRI top, but that's okay. Sports break. No, I don't think so. Okay, let's move on. S&P 500, I'm really curious how the market opens. As I stated in Friday's video or Saturday's video, this weekly candle is very concerning. We have not yet broken the S&P low for October, but we've had a brand new low weekly close and a brand new low daily close. These are very horrendous signs. We are already trading up in the futures market, but that means absolutely nothing. Monday will decide everything. At this point, I would actually like to see a new daily close. I would like to see the stock market make a low and perhaps reverse sometime next week on a daily MRI buy, creating divergence on the daily chart. Will we have divergence on the daily chart? Let me see. We will. Look at this. You see the MACD has just crossed over. So if we fall a little bit and then reverse, making new lows in the daily today, that would be a huge divergence with the MACD. And if we reverse in the next 2 to 3 days, we may even get divergence with the RSI. And now I really do want to check the CMF. This is my personal CMF and will eventually be released publicly. It's not that I'm hiding it, it's just that it takes time and effort. Where's the tone Vays CMF? Hold on. Where's my CMF? Probably this one. That's probably my CMF. The hell is this? That's weird. Oh, there's no volume on this. That's wrong. Crap. I need, in order for CMF to work, it needs volume. Shit. On the futures market, maybe? Or maybe it's the same thing here. Damn. Oh, here it is. Right. CMF will not be diverging, unfortunately. Too bad. The Dolphins lost is so sad. I have no idea what you're talking about, brother. Oh, Marco, I know who you are. Oh, Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins. They lost. They're playing well this year, though I don't have time to pay attention to football. I am paying attention to Florida State, though. My team has a shot at the title once again. Georgia has been looking weak. Michigan's looked good. Ohio State's been looking weak also. Florida State's got a shot at it. I wrote that team off for dead. I thought they would never win another game, like the rest of history against a good team. Tone, I know you've been in Bitcoin for a long time. What has been your favorite time in the Bitcoin journey? That's a great question. My favorite time in the Bitcoin journey. You know, probably Probably going on Max Kaiser's show is up there because Max Kaiser is how I learned about Bitcoin to begin with. I first heard about Bitcoin from Max Kaiser by watching his show. I didn't have any libertarian friends. No one told me about it. No one in finance told me about it. So I learned about Bitcoin literally by watching Max Kaiser. And I wish I got into it earlier because I heard about it back in 2011. So that was great, going on Max Kaiser's show. Navigating people through the user-activated soft fork was a very stressful time, but I had a really good surrounding mixture of knowledgeable people like Jimmy Song, like Adam Back, the very underappreciated Mr. Hodel, people like that gave me confidence that I was on the right side of the user-activated soft fork. Giacomo Zucco, Francis Poulier, the guys with the user-activated soft fork hats, and navigating that entire environment. People still come to me and thank me for giving them the confidence to hold Bitcoin through that 2017 insanity of the soft fork. And people were scared that they didn't know what to do. And that was also one of my favorite times. Yeah, let's look at the Bitcoin miners. You snooze, you lose, right? I'm sure they're rallying. They're going to rally big time. Tesla. Someone complained that I didn't do a Tesla analysis. Tesla looks very weak right here. But again, I'm expecting the stock market to rally next month. So I think Tesla's drops are very limited. Oh, Tyler Jenks. Yeah. Wow. We can't forget about Tyler Jenks. So unfortunate. Man, I would probably be working at his hedge fund right now. I swore I would never work for anyone again, but I might have made an exception. If Leah and Tyler Jenks would have started that hedge fund, I probably would have joined. Either as a significant advisor. I would have loved to work with Tyler Jenks on a hedge fund. Man, that would have been my only exception. I don't want to manage other people's money, but I probably would have. The Financial Summit would have been very different. Financial Summit was supposed to be a joint venture between myself and Tyler Jenks. It was my idea, but Tyler, the Tyler Jenks passing was just us. Like, my world would have been very different if Tyler Jenks and I was still doing a channel together. I don't know if I'll start my own hedge fund. I'm gonna start managing my own money soon, and my friends really want me to manage a family office. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Yeah, meeting Tyler Jenks, definitely one of my top 5 highlights in the space. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's look at a Bitcoin. Well, I'm going to have to do another video when I come home. I'm going to try not to come home too late. I'll try to be home by midnight. Guys, Dubai is a different world. You're constantly out at events, like you're constantly drinking alcohol. You would think that a country like this, there wouldn't be easy to get alcohol, but it's at all the events, at all the hotels. It's too much. You got to take a break. Dubai's been great. Dubai, no politics here whatsoever. Wow, if you ever want to be in a country where no one wants to talk about politics, this is it. This is it. No one even talks about Israel, Palestine. People come here because they want to do business. They want to do business. Really, you got to really respect that. Ethereum still dropping. Oh, keep an eye on this. Ethereum MRI buy next week against Bitcoin could make a difference. And I'm sure Litecoin's still crashing. Of course it is. Okay, let's go to mining stocks, but it's the weekend, right? We got to wait till Monday. We got to see how big the gap is. in these publicly traded miners. We're going to start with Bitfarms, of course. It'll probably gap big, probably gap to like $1.20 on at the open. We'll see. And what's the other one? CleanSpark? Do I have a CleanSpark ticker? I don't think I do. I don't think I have a CleanSpark ticker. CleanSpark is one of our sponsors at Unconfiscatable, so shout out to CleanSpark. Yeah, not much to say. We gotta wait till Monday is open. Sam Ham, thank you so much for picking up the MRI as well. I will grant you access right after the stream is over. If you just bought it. Head and Shoulders on NVIDIA. I don't care for Head and Shoulders. It's one of those, oh, it's on a weekly. On a daily, it'll probably look better. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's a break of horizontal support with a lower top. Like, you don't need the Head and Shoulders. Like, you don't need this. Well, like, why look back, like 8,000 years into history when this and these lows tell you everything you need to know? Like, this is why I don't care for Head and Shoulders. This entire part is totally unnecessary. Like, I don't need to see this part. My analysis of what this chart pattern is identical with this information in green. I'm going to make this green. This information in green tells me everything I need to know without looking at the information in yellow. And the information in yellow, the outlook by using everything yellow plus green, the outlook of yellow plus green is identical to the outlook of what's in the green. So looking at the Head and Shoulders is just more shit for your eyes to deal with that is completely unnecessary in my brain. Like, I have a very analytical and mathematical thought process, and I don't need to bombard my brain cells with additional information that doesn't give me anything more than what I already processed by looking at this and this. So just so you guys understand why I don't care for Head and Shoulders. Am I planning a mega stream for the next halving? I don't think it's humanly possible for me to have a mega stream. Guys, I am grossly shadow banned. I'm grossly shadow banned. The days of me pulling 10, 20,000 views, it's not possible. YouTube does not promote my channel. YouTube does not notify people that haven't watched me in 2 weeks. You all get the notifications because you watch me consistently. But if you stop watching me for 2 weeks, you will never get my notification. My tweets get 15 to 20 likes. Here, hold on. I'm completely shadow banned. Even on X, when my shadow ban got lifted earlier this year, that's not really where I'm going. If I go to my bookmarks, I used to be a DJ, by the way. I was DJ Tone a long time ago. These were these were the CDs. It's how I used to make money. I used to have like 2 or 3 jobs. Plus I used to, well, I think the statute of limitations on the criminal activity of your college career has probably passed, but used to, rip and burn MP3s and then sell them. The good old days. So when my shadow ban got lifted, exactly 1 year ago, when Elon was buying the company, my shadow ban got lifted, and my tweets were getting bombarded with comments that suddenly people see me on Twitter again. And I sent off a couple of tweets, and these tweets were like nothing special, and they were getting 6,000 likes. Right. Like even Mr. Hodel, who's a personal friend, and he's like, "Wow, I thought you were on a Twitter break." Like this is what happened. Like my tweets suddenly started getting thousands of likes, and then a month later, or like 2 weeks later, it's back to my tweets getting like 100 likes, and that's what's happening right now. It's impossible for me to have a big stream. It just no one will know what's happening. I'm still completely shadow banned. Yeah, no, the shadow ban got dropped while Elon was buying the company, but then the moment he bought the company, my shadow ban came back. Okay, where are we here? Where am I going next? Oh, I was gonna go to my YouTube channel. Speaking of my YouTube channel, guys, in the near future, all my financial knowledge will be on the Financial Summit YouTube channel. So you want to subscribe to it sooner than later, because this channel, as far as I know, is not shadow banned, and I'm not going to talk politics on this channel, and I'm just going to be a guest on the channel. So if you go to Tone Vays having stream, like you can't even find it. Here it is. 2.3 thousand views. No, see, the Emily posted this. That was just a cutout. Like I can't even find it. Here it is. No, Alexandra posted that. Like I can't even find it. Is this it? Yeah, here it is. Look how far down the algorithm it is. I'm on YouTube, right? I Google Tone Vase having stream, and Joe Saz and Emily with 2,000 views was ranked higher. Alexandra's, she was a guest as well. There she is. Alexandra's was higher. Look how far I have to scroll to find my own stream with 120,000 views. Like it's not, I shit you not that I am completely hated and banned by, and that's Sam Bankman-Fried, by the way. There were some gems. I challenged him why Alameda is trading against his own exchange clients. When Sam Bankman-Fried came on the stream, I challenged him as to why the hell Alameda is trading against his clients. So these days are long gone. This is why Tone Vase makes no money. I have more. Oh, sorry, subscribers. Sorry, how many views are there? I'm insane. Oh, okay. So the number of views is the same as the number of subscribers. That's why I'm confused. 120,000 views. Oh no, I was shadow banned before the Ukraine coverage. It was my Trump coverage and COVID coverage and BLM coverage. I didn't do much BLM. I was like, you know what? The BLM issue is not important enough for me to ruin my brand with, but clearly the fraudulent elections and the lockdowns was, and since my brand was already ruined because of the election and because of the COVID tyranny, it didn't matter. So I was, or at that point, I might as well talk about Ukraine. I haven't really talked about Palestine, Israel much. It's a way more sensitive topic than Russia, Ukraine. Way more sensitive. So you got to talk about it in a more careful way. All right, speaking of politics, it is time. Argentina elections. Now, here's the crazy part. Argentina elections live results. Right. So Milei is not going to be president of Argentina. I can almost guarantee you that. So I saw it this morning. Where's the... I'm not going to BBC. Bloomberg's a little bit better. BBC is such propaganda. BBC is as bad, if not worse, than Pravda, which was the old Soviet Union news channel. So Sergio Massa leads with 36% over Milei. Now, I don't know if it's a fair election or a fraudulent election. I have no idea, right? I don't know. All I can tell you is Milei will not be president. It will not happen because of these numbers. This is an enormous lead. 37 versus 30 is gigantic, right? So here's how I know Milei will not be president. And I know I don't really know much about the situation. All I know is Milei would be great. I'm going to be critical of Milei as well. Oh, man. I kind of wish I had another expert on this channel about this so I can talk with this. Where do we begin? So you really should check out Milei. Milei is awesome. He says great things. People were talking about how Milei could win this election with a supermajority. If he gets 45% of the vote, then he would automatically become president. And if he gets less than 45% of the vote, and or it's a margin of victory of 10%, then he would automatically be president. When are you coming to Australia? Somewhere between a long time and never. Like, I'm sorry, guys, I have no desire to ever go back to Australia. Like, I know I have a huge fan base in Australia. It was my third most watched market at one point. It probably still is. It's US, UK, and then Australia, and then Canada, and then Netherlands. Those were my statistics. But I really have no desire to go to Australia. Milei talks no sense. No, he talks sense, but here's the craziest thing about Milei. Milei has publicly announced that he would not do business with any leftist communist government. And I applaud him for that. That's not a realistic strategy. Okay? I'm more likely to go back to Cape Town, even though I called South Africa a garbage dump in a recent video. I am more likely to get back to Cape Town than I am to Australia. Sorry, guys. I really did enjoy Cape Town, especially your 50-cent oysters. That was incredible. And white wine with those oysters. So Milei swore that A, he's not going to do any business with leftist governments, which is economically stupid. You shouldn't, deprive your population of economic prosperity by taking these hardline irrational stance. Yes, I hate leftist governments as much as the next guy, but it doesn't mean you can't trade with them for your advantage. You need to negotiate trading contracts that are in your favor to make up for the fact that you are dealing with leftists. But you need to take advantage of the situation. So that was a very ill-advised comment by Milei. And my second criticism of Milei is in him saying that I'm not going to work with any leftist governments. In the list of leftist governments, he included Russia and China, which is crazy because neither Russia and China is a leftist communist government. They are different. Yes, is China a bit tyrannical sometimes? Yes. But, I mean, is China overseeing the private industry? Yes. But is there private property ownership in China and Russia? Yes. It is not the leftist government of the, Mao and Stalin and Khrushchev and even Gorbachev. These countries are not like that anymore. Also, Argentina is in the BRICS. How do you announce that you're going to stop doing business with China and Russia? Like, that's insane. So Javier Milei has some, real problems that of economics that he doesn't understand. I mean, it's great that he wants to adopt Bitcoin, and it's great that he wants to remove the central bank of Argentina. But to me, it feels like he knows nothing about economics. And while I do agree that adopting Bitcoin and removing the central bank is the right step forward to improve the economics of your country, but if you are completely economically illiterate, adding Bitcoin, switching to the dollar, removing the central bank, but then doing even dumber things on the back end of your economic reforms could potentially create bigger problems than the problems you are trying to eliminate. Though in the case of Argentina, bigger problems is questionable because their currency is already imploding, right? But it sounds like he doesn't know what he's doing. Just because you say the right thing of we're going to adopt Bitcoin, we're going to get rid of the central bank, we're going to remove taxes, it doesn't mean that you know what you're doing. No, he did say that. No, he actually did say he wants to adopt Bitcoin. He was once the HSBC lead economist. I find that, okay, that's fine. It doesn't mean that he knows what he's doing. You can't announce to the world you will not do business with leftist governments and countries like China and Russia. Like, who is he going to do business with? Who's left? Antarctica? Like, some of his economic statements are very irrational. No, he also wants to adopt, he does want to adopt dollars, but I've also heard him in interviews say he's open to allowing Bitcoin as legal tender alongside the dollar, just like with just like with El Salvador. Look, I could also be wrong. Like I said, I haven't followed Milei all that much. I've just seen an interview here and there because they're kind of going viral on social media. So I could be totally wrong on my statements. I actually did not know his economic background. From what I've heard him say about what he would do economically for his country, to me, it sounded like he has absolutely no economic knowledge whatsoever. I could be wrong. Maybe he does have economic knowledge. So we'll see. But the social media made it sound like Milei would absolutely crush the election. They were like, he's got a shot to get 45%. He's got a shot to win by 10%, even if he doesn't make 45%. And that is a giant gap. That is a train. 37 versus 30 is a train, okay? And in the runoff election, remember, the world hates Milei. The World Economic Forum and the IMF and the rest of the cabal will not let Milei get elected. Argentina will have like 2 months or a full month. I don't know when the runoff election is, probably in November. They will have one full month to conspire against him, to arrest him more, to have a smear campaign, and to, fake the numbers. So there's, I mean, if this number was 40%, and if Milei was at 40%, and Mesa was at like, say, 32% or 31%, and Milei had just missed the 10-point gap, I would say Malay's got a good shot in the runoff election. I don't think Milei has any shot in the runoff election. Yeah, the Trayvon James, you kind of lost your money. Yeah, that's great. No, I mean, I'll play it again soon. It's not in context right now. Blueist, thank you so much for your generous donation. You speak the truth. Money, politics, diet. You wonder why you banned. No, I don't wonder why I'm banned. I'm fully aware why I'm banned. You can't make profit exposing lies. Paid Brand. I really like Russell Brand. I don't like Andrew Tate. I'm sorry, guys. I've taken my stand. I don't like Andrew Tate. I like that he, pokes the bear, the government, but I don't like Andrew Tate as a person. My crystal ball is only telling me that we're going to pull back sometime in the next 36 hours. I don't really, it's impossible to say where the next top will be because I don't know how it's going to get there. Remember, this is why I gave two projections. If we go up later, we're going to go up higher. So I can't say that the top's going to be at 150 or the top's going to be at 300. That's a big difference. But it depends on how we go up. No, you see, Russell Brand makes money from telling the truth. Tate doesn't actually make money from telling the truth. Tate was making money by taking advantage of desperate men. So this is the big difference between Tate and Brand. Tate made his money by taking advantage of men by running girls' OnlyFans accounts, by lying and cheating to men, siphoning money from them, thinking that they're gonna, meet these girls that they were never gonna meet. So when these lonely guys would be texting with OnlyFans girls, they're actually talking to Andrew Tate. Maybe not personally, maybe in rare situations, or they're talking to other guys, not girls, that were trained by Andrew Tate to take advantage of them and their money, paying girls on OnlyFans and other similar webcam. I mean, he's smart. I'm not saying the guy's an idiot. He's very smart. He became very rich. He said great things in the public media to become popular. Richard Hart is also smart. I'm not going to call him an idiot either. He's smart. And but Richard Hart also made money by taking advantage of his fans, and Andrew Tate made most of his money by taking advantage of the people that looked up to him. That's not what Russell Brand does. Again, I'm not doubting Tate's marketing genius. I'm doubting the ethics of what he did with his genius. I'm not doubting it. Sorry, I don't support the ethics of what Andrew Tate did with his genius. Right, exactly. Pleb 2 Dev says, I'm going to read your comment. Um, I love Tate and his motivation. I agree. But when I saw the clip of him bragging about ripping dudes off, I was like, nah, that's cold. Right, I agree. I agree 100%. The moment I saw that interview where he talked about how he took advantage of, lonely men that supposedly he's a role model for, that's just scammy as hell, right? You're a role model for men to give them confidence, and yet you made your money by taking advantage of men that have not been able to get the confidence that you preach. Like, you shouldn't be taking advantage of them financially. You should continue to help them to get out of that. You should have been helping men, not to be on these cam girl sites and OnlyFans sites, but instead he was taking advantage and ripping them off for like tens of thousands of dollars, convincing them to send it to the girls in Eastern Europe, thinking that they would fly to America and marry them. So that's when, all respect for Tate was lost. You should use your knowledge to help people, not take advantage of people. It takes a lot to convince a man to put his credit card information on a computer to look up a chick. Right, but Andrew Tate is an expert. Andrew Tate is an expert at men, right? He's an expert at lonely men and trying to give them more confidence. So there's nobody better in this world to take advantage of those same set of men that he's trying to publicly pretend like he's helping. All right, enough talk about Andrew Tate. All right, back to the election. There's no way he's going to win. Like, he's not even the leading candidate, for God's sakes, right? Milei needed to win this election without a runoff. And maybe if he had a huge lead that was almost close to him winning outright, then he would have a shot at the runoff. There's no way. I don't know who Mesa is. I don't know what his policies are. But, like, everyone made out Milei that he's in a huge lead, like Trump was in a huge lead. No, this is not even close. Like, I'm sorry, Trump. I stated in 2019 that Trump would win his re-election by the greatest margin in American history. And by the way, the prior margin was Nixon. Speaking of Nixon, sometimes you remember weird shit from your childhood, right? Now, I'm not that old. I don't personally remember Nixon. But I remember my high school teacher, my high school social studies teacher. And man, high school teachers were communist, Marxist, lefties, even back then when I was in high school, which is a long, long time ago. We're talking 90s. And we were taught about Nixon. Like, there was, I don't know, we spent like a whole week on Nixon. And I don't remember anything. Well, like, I was a terrible student. By the way, social studies and history, it was one of two subjects I failed in high school. One of the two classes I failed when I was in high school was history. And ironically, now I talk about history all the time. The other subject I failed in high school was music. And ironically, I became a DJ when I was in college. So it's funny how the subjects you fail in, you actually become doing. So in that history, that's not the class that I failed, by the way. I failed a different class because the professor was a total ass. The high school teacher was a total asshole. And he accused me of cheating after I had glanced at someone's test after I was done writing my test, and I was walking up to the teacher to hand in my test. It was, dude, I almost got like expelled from school for, never mind. Yeah, I did go to high school in Brooklyn. Anyway, where was I? Right. So there was a whole week of learning about Nixon and his administration. And then afterwards, the teacher said, okay, I'm going to put all of pros of Nixon and all the cons of Nixon. And afterwards, this teacher gave his opinion whether Nixon was a good president or a bad president. And the teacher's opinion was that Nixon was a bad president. And in hindsight, that's wrong. Nixon was actually a very good president. And he was completely set up by the CIA because he wasn't willing to let Americans die in Vietnam. LBJ took care of that. So, why was I talking about that? Oh, so Nixon won his re-election with the greatest margin of victory in American history. And Trump was going to beat it. And when I was going to bed that night, after we did election coverage live with Jimmy Song, Trump was winning in Pennsylvania, in Ohio, in Wisconsin, in Georgia. He was winning in all of these swing states. And I wake up in the morning to find out he lost. 8 states he was winning in at that time. So they, like, social media made it sound like Milley was the leading candidate. He's not the leading candidate. Again, I don't know if this is an honest and fair election. I have no idea, right? But whether it is or isn't an honest, fair election, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he's so far behind. He's literally in Brazil right now, okay? So there's no way he's going to win. So what the hell was all the fuss about? He won the primaries. I'm not sure what that means. The primaries in Argentina. I don't know what the primary. I mean, was he up against Massa in the primaries? Because clearly he wasn't, right? (31 to 28). But did he win 31 to 28 against Massa, whoever Massa is? Or did he win it against like people that are not in this final election? Right? Like I want to see the real time stats. Argentina election live results. One hour ago. AP, another propaganda site. DW, another propaganda site. The Guardian, Jesus. Yeah, fails to win first round. Yeah, the Guardian couldn't wait to print this. Another leftist propaganda site. Is there any good publications out there? Reuters is also bad. At least it's 23 minutes ago. Argentina's Peronists. I don't know what this word means. Soar an election to seal runoff with radical Malay. I mean, like, he's not going to win. He's not. I mean, I would like to see him win. I would like for him to, you know, stir the pot a little bit. But it's clear who the winner is going to be when it's all said and done. I would be surprised. I mean, is it possible for him to win? It's possible. But now they have an entire month to demonize him more, to make a fraudulent election. It's not going to happen. Right? Connor, are you seriously asking how AP is a propaganda site? AP is the underlying website that everyone else copies. AP is a complete left-wing site. They're not neutral at all. AP is actually terrible. AP is one of the worst. AP is where most of the other news agencies republish their information. AP drives the bus. Like Bloomberg does their own analysis. Reuters is 50-50, but AP drives the bus for Yahoo Finance and many of the others. I mean, like most of the stuff comes out of AP, Associated Press. Tone, do you think World War III is coming? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The collapses are coming, but I don't know how to define World War III. It's possible we've been in World War III since 2001, since 9/11. Like, I don't know how to define World War III, right? It's not definable. Like, there was never a World War I. You guys know there was never a World War I, right? It was the Great War. And it only became World War I after World War II, because they couldn't call it the Greater War, right? So only after World War II ended, you renamed the Great War World War I. Again, this is from a guy that failed history class in high school. And you then name World War II. You can't define World War III until long after it's over, because World War III is going to be different. What do you define as collapse? The United States is no longer united. That's the big collapse. The big collapse is the world superpower. The war is very different. We have a cyber war. Like, do I think nukes are going to start flying? I'm leaning towards no. I don't think nukes are going to start flying. And if nukes aren't flying, is it really a World War III? Right? See, here's the thing. A world war gets fought with bigger and greater weapons. And the ultimate weapon was used in World War II. So to me, if you're going to define something as a World War III, it has to use a more destructive weaponry than was used in World War II. And I don't believe that a more destructive weapon than Little Boy and the Fat Man, I don't think more destructive weapons will be used in the current conflict. Therefore, it's hard for me to call this a world war. I'm really hoping that there isn't a religious war going on between the Jews and the Muslims. So let's try to avoid that. I mean, the Muslims clearly outnumber the Jews, but well, I was going to say the Marxists and the Christians are going to come to the aid of the Jews more so than the Muslims. And in case you're wondering why the Marxists would, side with the Jewish side of the, like not everybody, but why the Marxists would side with the Jewish side of the religious war is because the majority of Marxist ideas do come out of let's just say, people of Jewish descent, which is very frustrating, by the way. It is frustrating how many, Jews and Israelis are outright Marxist. It's really, really frustrating. Let's look at Bitcoin price. Yeah, Mark, it's really hard to explain. You know who doesn't have Marxist ideas? Emiratis, where I am. They don't have any Marxist. They're as capitalist as it gets. I'm in a Muslim country and it's as capitalist as it gets. That's why I really like coming to the UAE. They just don't, they're allowing gambling now. Russell Kaima, where the financial summit will be, just approved gambling licenses. So now they're going to start building like casino resorts in the UAE. Isn't that insane? A Muslim country where gambling is illegal is going to allow gambling because they're capitalists. It clearly shows that Marxism versus capitalism is more critical than even religious beliefs. And that's a good thing because they care about capitalism. It's great. Well, Bernoulli, UAE seems based. It's very based. But I'm afraid I might get drunk and kiss a girl in public or something. Well, if you kiss a local girl in public, you will never be heard or seen from again. If you kiss a foreign girl in public, someone will politely ask you to stop, and no big deal will happen there. Though the girl does have to be receptive to your kiss. Otherwise, you are also in a lot of trouble. Someone says the moon, not Carl, just did a wicked video on Dubai. Okay, can we talk about this as well? I'm gonna go off on a slight tangent. There's a YouTube channel called The Moon, not Carl Moon. The Moon. I have not watched it, but I saw the title. Wait, what's the YouTube channel? Somebody sent it to me. Is it just Moon? It's got yeah, here it is, right? Okay, here's some more truth. Channels like this are, I don't want to say they're propaganda, but your best interest is not aligned with Moon's best interest. Let me explain. Okay. Where is it? I didn't actually watch it. It says that I watched it, but I didn't watch it. Dubai is everything wrong with society. I should probably watch it before I talk shit. But I'm telling you guys right now that channels like this, they're not designed for your best interests. Let me show you an example. Because in general, you don't know what you don't know. Here's a channel with 7 million subscribers. Okay, real life lore. I've watched a fair number of these videos. Okay, someone got me onto this channel. I watched it. I found it super interesting. You know, like his video about like this island, which is like, you know, like the most forbidden island, like how to calculate uh, the coastline. You know, some interesting videos. They get millions of views. Okay, millions of views. And then you watch a video like a video about Mongolia. I know nothing about Mongolia. Uh, a video about Panama, where I live. This one actually wasn't too bad. But you watch these videos on stuff you don't know, and you're like, "Wow, this guy is really smart. He knows this. He knows his stuff. They're super cool looking videos, right?" But then he does a video like the collapse of Russia, and then he does a video like why China and Russia is going to go to war, why Russia's biggest threat is actually China 7 months ago, right? Why Ukraine retaking Crimea will destroy Russia, right? And these videos are super cool and they get 8 million views. But his knowledge of the subject is so dumb that when I watch a video about Mexico on stuff that I don't know, I'm like, wow, this guy is smart. I'm learning a lot. But then I watch a video why Russia is going to go be at war with China any day now. And I realize that this guy is actually a fucking idiot. And because videos like this tell me that he's a complete and utter moron, it makes me question videos like this because I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know the guy's a complete and utter moron when I watched videos that fascinated me about his knowledge of a subject. But then when he starts talking about a subject I know well, I realize that he knows absolutely nothing. But they're super cool videos that get legitimately 7 million views. Okay? So his job is to make cool videos. And the more provocative they are, the better. Like here's a video on why Russia is actually collapsing. Okay, good luck with that. I haven't watched it because I got tired of his other dumb takes on the Russia-Ukraine situation, on which I've been right from day one. And there's many channels like this, right? There's others. There's one more. This one, Caspian Report, another very popular channel. Oh, I am subscribed to Moon. Because I started watching some of these and I'm like, my God, this is awesome. They make these cool videos. The guys sound smart. But then they start talking about subjects that you understand. And you're like, holy shit. Well, like there was one here. Russia, wait, where was it? Man, hold on. Where was this? Maybe it wasn't this guy. Maybe it was another guy. I already forgot. They they all copy each other, right? Like, look, his job is to make viral videos. That's it. That's how he makes their money, right? So same thing with this guy. His job is to make a viral video so he can make millions of dollars. That's the job. Like his knowledge of Dubai is irrelevant because his goal is to get 1 million views. That's the goal. Like you want to watch channels that, yes, they want maximum number of views, but they want maximum number of views because they're trying to be actually helpful, right? So this is why I'm really starting to like Judge Napolitano's channel more and more. Hopefully he gets to his 200,050 subscribers by Christmas. I'm really liking his channel. I really like the Duran. I mean, yes, they need the views to make money, but their number one goal is not to make money from views. Their number one goal is to try to help society. Same thing with Napolitano. Guys like Moon, guys like Real Life Lore, guys like Caspian Report. Their goal is not to make society better. Their goal is to get more views to make more money, and they happen to pick like these subjects to do that. Some people promote scam coins. Some people tell you how to hack Fire Sticks so you can watch whatever you like. And some people try to benefit society, and then some people like Real Life Lore spreads propaganda. That's all it is. And sometimes he makes a video that's useful and doesn't spread propaganda, like how to calculate the coastline of the UK. I mean, that's not really going to alter your life one way or another. It was just a fun video. But like Finland joining NATO was checkmate for Russia. Finland joining NATO is Finland checkmating itself by throwing the king in the garbage. When Russia is done with Ukraine, Finland is going to realize what a dumb decision that was. So instead of explaining the topic properly, he's spreading outright propaganda for 15 million views. So there you go. Like, I thought it was the Caspian Report, but it might have been somebody else. Man. Like, maybe the video was removed. I don't know. Like, he did a video on how Russia is going to collapse, and then he had to do a follow-up video why Russia is not collapsing. Like, yeah, I could have told you that during your first video on why Russia was going to collapse. Like these guys are insane. Like, they actually think India and China are going to go to war. Not this century. They're going to resolve the little border dispute. It's not that big a deal. And they'll be fine. And when America is completely destroyed from within, and Russia, China, and India take over the world, eventually China and India are going to have a problem with each other because India's population and tech sector will eventually surpass China's. So the only hope we will have 100 years from now. So in about 100 years, China will be in America's position today. So 100 years from now, India, Pakistan will be resolved. If Amir Khan was president of Pakistan right now, there would be no problem between India and Pakistan. America is making sure that Pakistan and India are still fighting with each other. If the right president is elected in Pakistan, the guy that's currently sitting in prison, the relations between India and Pakistan would be all good. Amir Khan needs to be out of prison and president of Pakistan. Turkey is very important. And 100 years from now, China will be in America's position today. And the only country that could challenge China in 100 years is India. So China will try to take India down in the future the way America is trying to take China down today. But that's the future. For now, China and India need to work together to take down the United States. So India is neutral. India isn't in a rush to take down the United States. China and Russia are in a rush to take down the United States. India's not. India, in a perfect world for India, the United States remains a strong power along with China and Russia. That's in India's best interest because India doesn't want to go head to head against China. India wants to be neutral between China and America. But if America has been broken up into 50 countries, China takes over the world. And in cooperation with India and Russia. And the only country that will challenge it eventually is India. All right, guys. Oh, look at Bitcoin. Hey, I don't think I'll be here for another 24 minutes. The 1 hour MRI top, even though it takes place in the middle of the night US time, is likely to give us a break in the price. All right, someone's got a question. I live in Canada. Try to get out. And I'm scared for my family. I would be too. What do you think happens here? And where is safe to live during these crazy times? Look, I think Canada is also going to break up. I mean, if you live over in like Ottawa, like a place where you can still have some guns, you'll be okay. Just stay away from the liberal cities. I wouldn't want to live in Canada. Like, I don't know where's a good place to live right now. UAE is great, but it's really expensive. Can the narrative you just told become a world war? Guys, the only country that is pushing for a world war is the United States. If the United States breaks apart into multiple countries, there will be no world war. That's it. By the way, you guys want to hear something interesting? We're going to go to Judge Napolitano. He did a Q&A the other day. Videos, no, live streams. I hated that they separated videos and live. It's so annoying. Here, let's turn the volume up. Once I find the question. Yeah, too bad he doesn't have a comment on. Oh, here we go. This is it. Let me see. This was great. Also something they don't teach you in history class in high school. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Are you still talking about Lincoln? Jeez. All right. When did it start? Was that the first question? I didn't think it was the first question. I'm going to speed this up a bit. It was the first. I still have it on mute. Hold on. I know it's on mute. 1 second. I'm going to speed it up to 1.5. All right, here we go.
The day, and one of my favorite parts of the week where I answer questions that you have sent. And there's a bunch in the queue already, but this one caught my attention. So I don't know if your name is Jay, Luke, or Luke J, but Jay, you said, what you said about Lincoln last week was something I've never heard nor expected to hear, but I thought it was thought-provoking and interesting. And then you responded and said I had to replay it and make my girlfriend listen to it. Well, what I said about Lincoln last week was objective fact. If you're interested in Lincoln, I'm going to hide my face. This is the book, The Problem with Lincoln by Tom DiLorenzo, Professor DiLorenzo.
By the way, so someone asked, so last week, someone asked him a question, who he thinks was the worst president in American history. And his answer was Abraham Lincoln. And now he's going to explain a little more as to why he feels Abraham Lincoln was the worst president in the history of America. Maybe Biden. My knowledge of American history doesn't really go back that far much. I never thought of Lincoln as the worst president in American history. For me, it's now Biden and FDR and George W. Bush, and then maybe Obama. So for me, in the last 100 years, it's Biden, and like pre-Biden, obviously there was somebody else on the list. So pre-Biden, it would have been definitely Bush and definitely FDR, and then Woodrow Wilson or Obama is a tie for third place, but Biden has jumped ahead of both of them. But his answer was Abraham Lincoln, and here's why.
Who's an economic historian, has written about 4 or 5 books on Lincoln. This one, The Problem with Lincoln, summarizes the others and adds some new materials. But the historical facts remain the same. Treason in the Constitution is defined as giving aid and comfort to the enemies of the United States or waging war against them, meaning the states. So Lincoln engaged in an act of treason by waging war against the states. That's to start with. Lincoln also did things that no other leader had ever done in the history of the world, which is to attack civilians and attack their property. When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he burnt courthouses, robbed banks, raped women, killed children, and basically destroyed society in the state of Georgia and to a certain extent in South Carolina to the ground. This is the first time that it happened in the history of the United States, and of course, the first time it happened in the history of the world. Now it's considered common play, as we know from what's going on in Israel and Hamas and Russia and Ukraine, for military tacticians to target civilians. But prior to the American war between the states, there's no historical record of this happening by the head of state of an organized government. There obviously were marauders and pirates and crazy people who did this, but not an organized government. They've also said that if you read the Emancipation Proclamation, you'll see that it did not free the slaves everywhere. It purported to free them only in certain states, but it recognized slavery. I condemn slavery, but it recognized slavery in the border states because Lincoln was trying to woo the politicians in the border states into returning to the Union. And if he had purported to declare slavery unlawful there, it would have exploded in his face. Was the Civil War fought about slavery? Not at all. Slavery became an issue in the last year of the Civil War after the Emancipation Proclamation. By what authority did Lincoln issue it? By his authority as commander-in-chief. He basically said, I'm freeing the slaves so that they can join the military. Look, slavery was on its way out. It wouldn't have been necessary to kill 750,000 people. That's the number of people that died in the American Civil War, more than Americans died in all other wars combined. But Lincoln was a fanatic, determined to maintain the stability of the Union at all costs. When the Alien and Sedition Acts were written, now I'm back to 1798, which made it a crime to criticize the government. There were 2 anonymous pieces written against it. One was called the Kentucky Resolution, the other was called the Virginia Resolution. And both resolutions were adopted by the legislatures of Virginia and Kentucky, and they both said, we voluntarily joined the Union, we can voluntarily leave. Now you might say, well, what crackpots wrote that stuff? Well, the Virginia Resolution was written by James Madison, who wrote the Constitution. The Kentucky Resolution was written by Thomas Jefferson, who wrote the Declaration of Independence. It's very, very clear that at the time the states joined the Union, they all assumed that they could leave voluntarily. We also know this is true because 5 of the states joined conditionally, saying we will leave if you don't add a Bill of Rights protecting our citizens from the federal government. And so the first thing the Congress did when it came into existence was to draft the Bill of Rights and to send it to the states, and it was ratified unanimously just in a couple of weeks' time. He drafted the Bill of Rights, James Madison, same guy that wrote the Constitution, and that 5 years later, or 7 years later, pardon me, would write the Virginia resolutions. So the idea that the states can undo voluntarily what they did voluntarily was well accepted throughout the United States up until Lincoln decided to kill people who disagreed with that. But if you want to read more, Tom DiLorenzo is the country's leading academic authority. There's lots of negative stuff about Lincoln, But Tom DiLorenzo, a good friend of mine, Professor DiLorenzo.
Right. He didn't even mention how Lincoln completely removed freedom of the press and removed free speech and freedom of the press while president. That I knew, but makes a very good argument as to why Lincoln is the worst president in American history. All right, guys. Bitcoin's pumping. Oh, there it is. We do, like I said, we do have an MRI top coming up on the hourly chart in 16 minutes. In 16 minutes. Yeah, I don't think Istanbul will be called Constantinople for a long time. Thanks, Crypto Commons. I know there are views that, anyway, I think that in order for Istanbul to be called Constantinople again, basically it almost needs to be handed over back to Russia, sort of. And that's not going to happen because Russia and Turkey are going to become very good allies in the near future. So it won't make sense. It's the same thing with like China and Russia that have some disputed territories, but those disputed territories will be in the hands of Russia for a long, long time. It's the same thing, right? Like Istanbul is going to be a Turkish and Muslim for a long, long time, and it's not going to go back to Christianity, right? Like not for a long, long time, because as long as Turkey joins the Eastern Bloc, as long as Turkey forges an alliance with Russia, China, and India over the Western Bloc of Germany, UK, and America. I almost said France there, but they're completely irrelevant. So as long as Turkey picks the right side, there won't be a war in Turkey between Christians and Muslims. Therefore, there's no reason to overtake Istanbul and rename it back to Constantinople. Again, I'm not an expert at this subject. I do need to learn more, but I think we're a long way away from that, maybe in 100 years. But Turkey is not happy at all with the current Israel response. And Turkey has the fourth biggest military in the world. The United States does not want to get into a war with Turkey. That would be really bad for the United States. All right, guys, this was fun. Thank you all for watching. We'll keep an eye on the Argentinian elections. But the Malay experiment, I believe, has ended. Maybe we'll get lucky. Oh, this is what I was going to say. Shit. What I was going to say was, and I've said this many times, can the Titanic, which is the United States, Germany, UK, be reversed? Can the collapse of America be reversed? And the answer is no, it can't, but it's weird why it can't. The reason why it can't, I mean, you can reverse the Titanic, but Joe Biden was elected instead, right? Had Trump been reelected, and let's say RFK, like if Trump was president these 4 years, there would need to be another president this time around. And had Trump gotten 8 years, and then RFK gotten 8 years, and then maybe Vivek Ramaswamy would have gotten the next 8 years, the Titanic could be reversed. The problem is these people will never be allowed to be elected. Trump caught them by surprise. If the Marxists actually thought that Trump had a chance to win, he would have never won. Trump winning was an absolute fluke, which is why they made sure to rig it properly enough not to have him get reelected. The reason why the collapse of the West is coming is because they will not allow a person that could stop the collapse from happening. And it's not that these people want the collapse. It's just that they are too brainwashed to understand that their policies are going to bring the collapse. This is the problem. It's not that they're evil and they're trying to create, I mean, maybe Klaus Schwab is, but Bill Gates just wants to lower the population. I think these people I don't think they're lizard people. I think these people have just been brainwashed by Marxist thinking throughout their life. And it's impossible for them to comprehend that their policies are bringing down the republic and democracy way of life. And because they will not allow the democracy and the voting way of life to vote people in that can reverse the Titanic will not be reversed. Okay? And people haven't mentioned Yuri Bezmenov, and I do have a bookmark tweet of his, not his, tweet of mine, of him, and it says it really well. I cut this out, I edited it myself. Don't have time for that stuff anymore.
Thanks to lack of moral standards. As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization. Thanks.
So he calls it demoralization. I really don't like that terminology. I don't like to call it demoralization. To me, it's more like mass formation psychosis and Marxist education brainwashing. Okay. If you want to know more about mass formation psychosis, there were great videos. I used to have it in my video description forever. So here, they didn't do it originally. They just did a cool graphic of it. It was originally on which channel did it originally? I already forgot. But this is the video you want to watch. So I don't like the term demoralization.
Presentation was written and narrated by Academy of Ideas.
Right. It's from the channel Academy of Ideas. But After School just took the video because the video is just audio, and they animated the audio of it. Okay. So I really like this picture, and that's Bill Gates. Well, to me, that's Bill Gates, right? So this is just a regular picture, but just picture you have Klaus Schwab, you have Bill Gates, you have Anthony Fauci, and I guess van der Leyen or Christine Lagarde or one of these other crazies out in Europe. But to me, the problem is more mass formation psychosis and just Marxist education from the age of 4. Okay, the moment you go into kindergarten all the way through high school, you will have maybe one, if you're lucky, you will have maybe one non-Marxist leftist ideology, teacher, professor, they almost don't exist. Okay, they almost don't exist. So that's the problem. The problem is education. I don't like to call. I don't like the term demoralized. You know, I just don't like that term. All right, so you guys got a lot of homework to follow up on. Man, do I wait another minute? What do we got here? 6 minutes. We'll print an hourly MRI copy. All right, guys, I actually have a bunch of work to do and an event to plan. Yeah, if you use the term demorals, I like that. The term demorals is great. Yeah, when you said when someone uses the word demoralized, I mean his English wasn't perfect. You know, he's not a native, English speaker. Just the word demoralized has a specific definition and it doesn't really fit, right? So if you look up demoralized, like someone fighting Muhammad Ali in his prime would be demoralized. Like demoralized to me is a lack of motivation. That's why. What does it mean to be demoralized? Having lost your confidence, enthusiasm, and hope, right? And that's not the problem with today's society. It's not that they've lost confidence, enthusiasm, and hope. It's just that they've been brainwashed from the age of 5 into the wrong ideology. That's the problem with society. So I just don't like the term demoralized. It's not that they lost confidence, enthusiasm, and hope. They've never had it. If you were not taught properly, you'll never want these things because you don't know they exist. So it's just a bad word to use in that context. Bernoulli, maybe it's time you get some sleep. It's got to be like 1 in the morning where you are. All right, daily chart is at an MRI top. So I am expecting a top within 30 hours from now, either on current candle or next candle. I'm expecting a short-term top and a pullback. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Just telling you what I'm anticipating. And in 3 minutes, we're going to get an MRI top, and we already see that the candle is pulling back within a daily time frame. The 4-hour, however, does have more upside. Yeah, you should be on the index. I use the index. I used to use the BLX liquid index, but the BLX is only end of day data. So I use the trading view index right here. Bitcoin all-time history index. All right, I got 2 more minutes and then we're going to end the stream. All right, final question, final comment. I'm looking at your live chat. We're closing out with how many viewers? Let me see the statistic history on this stream. How long have I been streaming? I've been streaming for, how long has the stream been? When did it start? 2 hours. I've been going for 2 hours, and max views was 300, and we are now at 240 views. Do you think your trading has suffered due to geopolitics events over the past 2 years? I haven't done any trading in the last 2 years, so it couldn't have suffered. Has my trading analysis suffered? I don't think so, because the market's been kind of flat. But I'll tell you what has suffered over the last 2 years. My knowledge of Bitcoin technology has suffered. I do not use Lightning. I don't know what's happening in Liquid. I don't know who the current core developers are. What has suffered is my knowledge of Bitcoin technology, which most of you are probably better at. Like, I don't even have a Lightning wallet, like, because that's what suffered. Like, I can't do a Bitcoin podcast with Jimmy Song these days. I'm going to sound like a total idiot because I just don't know what's happening in Bitcoin technology. Liquid is over, which is very unfortunate. I had really high hopes for Liquid. I'm still a huge Liquid promoter. I think Liquid would be amazing for Bitcoin, but you know, I'm not a Marxist leader, right? I can't force everyone to use Liquid. I think if everyone used Liquid, it would be amazing. I'm still a big fan of Liquid. And we have our MRI top. All right, guys, I need to get going. Thank you all so much for watching. It is, I believe it's 10 a.m. here in Dubai. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye, guys.